Now I'm going to start a new series for you today, folks. This one should be pretty interesting and a little bit instructional. It's basically a series of 12 pretty generic dry flies. And I'm getting them from J. Edson Leonard's Flies. This was published in 1950, and it is a pretty seminal work in fly tying literature. Now, if you don't have a copy of this book, it is worth checking out. I mean, it's not the greatest how-to book on fly tying, but if you are at all interested in the history of tying, you can find copies of it out there on eBay or A-Books for about $15. And his chapter on dry flies, that's what I'm going to be going through. He's got 12 styles here, from, divided quill to split hair and spent wing and fan wing. And these 12 styles really cover pretty much all types of dry flies, mostly mayflies. I mean, a few of these in here you could consider caddisflies, but I look at these as pretty generic mayflies. And you could make any bug you want to with these styles. Just change the colors of the materials and the sizes, and you could make sulfurs or green drakes or Hendricksons, pretty much anything. So I'm not really sure what flies I'm going to make as I go through these 12 styles, but I'll mix it up a little bit, and it should be a pretty interesting and hopefully educational series. So there's the first one in the vise of Leonard's 12 styles of dry flies, and this one is the divided quill wing. Now I'm tying this on a size 12. I'd probably tie them more on 14s if I was tying a bunch of these to fish, but 12's a little easier to see. That's a standard length barbless dry fly hook. I'm going to take some black thread, catch it in, and bring it back here to the start of the bend. Now the tail on this thing, totally your choice. I'm going to go with an elk, just a light colored natural cow elk. And not too many fibers, maybe a dozen or so, and there it is unstacked. I'm going to go ahead and put it in my stacker. See how that looks? Yep, that's going to be fine. And since this is pretty much a mayfly, I'm going to make it a fairly long tail. We'll go at least a body length there. And elk, like deer, is fairly hollow, so it's going to flare up on us a little bit. That's fine. Got a couple wraps securing it, but I'm going to go ahead and leave this up here just to build a little bit of a underbody here. Give me some buoyancy, I guess. Now, if the back is flaring more than you like, just take a couple of loose wraps right here and try to hold it down a little bit. See that? All right, that's fine. You could even put a wrap up under that if you wanted to. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to go ahead and dub my body next. So a little bit of wax here. And I'm going with a superfine in tan. Looks a little pinkish, but it is a tan. So let's catch a noodle on, not a real long one, maybe an 1.5 inches or 2. And you see I don't have too much dubbing on the first couple of millimeters of that thread. And that's what I want, so I can use those first couple of wraps to get me back here to the front of that tail. And now we can finish dubbing our body and get a little taper if you want. Probably not that important here, but I think that one's going to be just fine. And since we're doing the divided quill on this one, just natural duck, or this is actually a dun, but fairly natural looking. Now I've taken 2 slips from a right and a left, got the convex sides together, and I'm going to lay them right there where I'm going to catch them in, judging the length up front for how high they're going to be. And I think that's going to be fine right there. And I wouldn't spend a lot of time trying to get these perfect. They're probably going to come unmarried on us here before we're done anyway, but that's fine because they probably will after a couple of fish anyway. So there's my wings. Flip them up. Is that going to be high enough? Yeah, I think we're going to be fine there. So a few wraps up in front to prop them up, and then we're going to split them. So that's the style of this fly right here. I'm not going to tie them entirely spent, but I am going to put a couple of wraps in between them, going back to forward and now forward to back. Oops, I got that one spun around on me. Didn't really want to do that, so we'll back that wrap off and then go right there. Okay, see how they're a little bit unmarried there, but that's going to be just fine. And now, standard dry fly hackle, whatever you want. I'm going to go with a grizzly on this. This is pretty standard type dry fly hackle. And I'm going to catch it in just a little bit behind this wing. I'd like to get maybe 2 or 3 wraps behind it, and then about the same in front of it, depending on how much room I left myself up here. I think I'll be able to pull that off, because I like these style dry flies pretty heavily hackled for the types of water that I typically fish them in. All right, so let's wrap this and see what it looks like. Okay, that's 3 behind. See how I'm pushing my wings forward a little bit? I don't necessarily want that. I don't mind if it happens, but I'm going to try to prop them back up with that first wrap in front of them. All right, there we go. I think I got 4 wraps in front, but that's going to be just fine. And actually, I kind of prefer it. So that's a pretty heavily hackled fly right there. And I certainly haven't crowded my eye. If anything, I could have gone a little bit farther forward with that. But I'd rather have an ugly looking head that I can fish than a beautiful fly that I can't even get my tippet through. So a few wraps right here, just smooth this out. Just enough wraps to, make sure that hackle feather is secure. And now we'll do a quick whip finish. Now, do we have any cleanup on this guy? Yeah, I could probably spend a little bit of time cleaning up some of this hackle fibers going backwards, or just, not worry about it. Put a drop of head cement on it, call this guy done. So there you go, pretty standard generic type mayfly with a divided quill upright wings. So I appreciate you watching, everybody. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.